All right. I did a blog post on time in relativity, and it's a fascinating topic. Olivier Costa de Beauregard wrote a whole book on the magnitude of time and precognition being the truth of reality. And he was a protege of Nobel physicist Louis de Broglie. And Roger Penrose has also argued that precognition is the truth of reality, basically as a repeat of the argument of Olivier Coste de Beauregard. He doesn't cite Olivier Coste de Beauregard, but it's essentially the same claim. And meanwhile, you have the internet, which is pretty much like popularity is the truth, and so you have the mainstream relativistic physicists just like repeating over and over that time is only just like a psychological um statistical property of entropy, and so we have a biological psychological perception of time that does not objectively exist, and time is instead a spatial um dynamic in relativity, so there's no objective independent time. It's just based on a different rest frame that's always relativistic, based on speed of light invariance. Good morning. So then physics says, well, you can't have speed in time on its own. In other words, speed inherently as defined, it's based on um, velocity in as defined by space, by magnitude, which is symmetric mathematics. And so when people really start digging into this, then they get into quantum physics. And we know that, again, Bell's inequality disproved Einstein. And so now you have all these physicists who do not understand Bell's inequality. And this is Professor Jean Brimon's big point. And so when it's like people are still being diluted by the mainstream relativistic paradigm. And then if you question relativity, it's very easy to get sidetracked by lots of fringe theories. But the non commutativity claim is not fringe at all. Um, and instead, basically, with the imaginary number, you are relying on the direction. So the number I as the square root of -1 is actually a change in the direction. And so we know that magnitude, it's both direction and spatial length. But you can have change of direction as being just time and frequency. And so when you say asymmetric time, which is what Roger Penrose is talking about and non-commutativity is talking about, they're dealing with statistics and entropy. But Basil J. Hiley is basically saying you can have this asymmetric time without having any statistics because it's there inherent to the non-locality in the physics as the quantum algebra. And Alon Khan is also saying this too, that it only appears to be random, so the uncertainty is only apparent. And my claim is this is accessible through meditation based on logical inference and listening. And listening is different than an external observation. So it's in agreement with Lee Smolin, who says yes, time does objectively exist, and Lee Smolin has been deferring to the de Broglie Bohm model of physics as of late. But then Lee Smolin, he developed a some kind of medical condition, so he's not able to talk as well anymore. I guess I don't know if I think it's like Parkinson's or something. But So hopefully he'll get better. But his first physics professor was the same professor I had, Herbert J. Bernstein, who taught this quantum non-locality as the 720-degree spin. So you have every 0 point of space-time has this time and frequency that's non-commutative. So it's a eternal motion that's non-local, but it's not a spatial motion. It's a time and frequency motion. So you still have relativity, but it's the relativity arises from this deeper um, time frequency precognition, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of fascinating because people, when they study relativity, like Basil J. Hiley, he debunked Richard Feynman. So there's supposed to be a new book coming out about Basil J. Hiley's research by his collaborators. So I look forward to that, and that will corroborate these claims.